Hello, everyone. This is Ren Michaelis, and to me, there seems to be this growing anti SJW community, if that's what you want to call it. And when I say an anti SJW, I mean like a person like Spinosauruskin. A person like Spino who has all of these videos against people in the anti-feminist community, but they're not they're not, an SJW. Spino is not a feminist, he's not an SJW, but at the exact same time, he has all of these videos on the anti-SJW community. And I wouldn't have a problem if I felt like he was honest, but I feel like he is very dishonest. And so I would just do a video response to his very recent video. And I'm not going to show my face too much. I would be using Bandicam screen recorder so that you could see what I mean. But I've just been thinking like, damn, this guy is Machiavellian as hell. So anyway, here I am doing a video response to David Sharrat. Let's begin.
I might be willing to make this public statement. Sargon's main contention was that we were friends.
As one does to one's friends, even though to his face I will be polite and civil and, I'll come on his live streams and I'll talk to him and I'll be friendly with him.
In reality, I have been a scathing critic of Sargon for a while now. Sargon and I have been openly hostile to each other for over a month. I told him to go fuck himself for smearing me as a virtue-signaling SJW, for smearing friends of mine as adherents to Pizzagate, and smearing my girlfriend as a white knight for terrorists.
Okay, so here is the problem that I see with that. How many of you think that Spinosauruskin and Shoeonhead are good friends? Yet, this is a video he made going after her boyfriend. So I am sensing some hypocrisy in this, where it's like, oh yeah, like, Shoeonhead is my friend, but look at me making this video mocking her boyfriend. Given that Shoeonhead is your friend, and you're making fun of her boyfriend, wouldn't that make you a hypocrite? Also, given that Spinosauruskin is very disingenuous, here's what I think that happened. Yes, those screenshots are real, and they happened publicly, but what I think what happened is that Spinosauruskin and Sargon probably made up, but it probably made up in Skype, because Vernaculus, who has been friends with both of them for about a year, also feels like, Spinosauruskin is disingenuous. Vernaculus has been calling out Spino on Twitter. So it's kind of like, Vernaculus is saying that Spinosauruskin is very disingenuous. Sargon is saying that Spinosauruskin is very disingenuous. And Reaper from the B list. Do you guys remember Reaper? Spino made a video on Reaper saying Islam is not a race. Even Reaper saying that Spinosaurus is very disingenuous and took all the things he said out of context. So we're having three separate people saying that Spinosauruskin has a habit of being very disingenuous. And what I would do is, I think Reaper did say this in a video, so I would look for the video where Reaper says, hey, Spino is disingenuous, he took everything I said out of context. Because what we're looking at is behavioral patterns. Different people saying Spino is disingenuous. Now, Sargon of Akkad has almost 100,000 subscribers. So if Sargon has this habits of lying about people, I would think that he would have more victims than just one. And I would think multiple people in the anti-SJW community would take notice of it. So I do think that Spinosaurus is lying in this one. I do think that what really happened is that Sargon and Spinosauruskin probably made up in a Skype group. And then, sorry, that's my heater. I'll turn it off. But they made up in like a Skype group. And then it happened privately. The made up, the getting along. It happened in a Skype group, which is why Vernaculus is like, man, you are a disingenuous fuck. And just unfollowed Spino from Twitter.
And why? Just so you can get some victim points.
Coming from a man who can't stop bringing up that he is 19 years old. I'm sorry, but you're 19 years old. You're still legally an adult. You can still legally drink and have sex and all that. You can legally buy a house. You can go to war. I mean, there are 18-year-olds who died for their country. And you keep going, I'm 19 years old. Well, back when I was a child, you have to respect your elders. And, Sargon is much older than you. He's about old enough to be your father. Shouldn't you respect your elders? Shouldn't you respect him because of his age? Because it kind of goes both ways. If he's supposed to treat you with kids' gloves because you're 19 years old, then you are supposed to respect your elders because he's 37 years old. When really, if I'm going to care about your age, you are basically 15 years old or under. If you are 16 years old and up, I am going to treat you like an adult.
Meanwhile, in SJW Twitter, the account was picking up with people who stand for what you used to stand for. Free speech, liberal values, ethics in journalism. Nowadays, you defend dictators. You do hit pieces against 19-year-olds where you blatantly lie. And you demand people self-censor for your feelings.
So there goes Spinosauruskin again, whining, bitching, and moaning. You're going after me and I'm 19. I'm 19. Don't criticize me. Don't criticize me. When really, I would like to bring this to your attention. This is very, very important. Why? Because I actually follow Michael Rowlands, and his profile hasn't looked like this in a long time. Let me show you how Michael Rowlands' profile looks like. This is Michael Rowlands' Twitter. And let's see what we could find if we could track what he's following. Oh, look, hard on for Assad. I'm at Music Man's Mice or Michael Rowland's Twitter page, and he is indeed following hard on for Assad. But what else could we learn through Twitter? We learned that Spinosauruskin has been following Michael Rowlands for a very long time. See this little bar down here? I'm almost at the beginning of his how long he's been following somebody, because Twitter, it puts people in the order of which you've been following them. So we can see, like right here, that he must have been following Michael Rowlands for months, probably a year, since he's been he's what Spino has been following for the earliest of times. And I would also like to say that Michael Rowlands must have had his Twitter like this, his page, his icon like this for about a month or so. So Spinosauruskin must have used a very old screenshot because I've been following Michael Rowlands for like, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. So I'm telling you, these screenshots that Spinosauruskin used, it's very, very old. This is not how it even looks like anymore. Now, looking into the accounts, I noticed that there were a lot of Sargon parody accounts following Spinosauruskin. So why on earth would Sargon single Spino out as his friend? Why not say that's about all the other dozens and dozens of Sargon of Akkad accounts? Why target only Spino as his friend? I think it's because Spino really was his friend. Because, again, why on earth would he lie about? I mean, what would his motive be? If he was triggered, why not be triggered by all the other people? And not only that, but again, if Sargon has this habits of lying, he has 500,000 subscribers. That's a lot. If he lies a lot, many people will be like, oh man, this guy's a liar. This guy's disingenuous. Think about all the people who went after Jacqueline Glenn for plagiarism. If he lies constantly, you wouldn't be his only victim. He would have multiple victims, and he would have multiple people calling him out. He is constantly in the public eye. So again, he doesn't seem to have any motive. And out of all the other Sargon of Akkad accounts, he could have easily said, well, this guy was my friend, that guy's my friend. He said about you, not all the others. And Vernaculus left you as a friend because of this, and he's been friends with the both of you. He's been friends with the both of you for about a year. So why on earth would he leave you and not Sargon? How come he's not calling Sargon out? He's still following he's still following Sargon on Twitter. And you have a history of being dishonest. Even Reaper saying you did the same thing to him. Even Reaper saying you take him out of context. So, I mean, either Reaper's lying when he says you take him out of context, Vernaculus is lying when he said that you took him out of context, and you're being disingenuous about Sargon. And Sargon is lying because he's triggered over you doing a parody account of him, even though there are so many other parody accounts of him, and he's just triggered by you only. Or you are lying. And it's simple. It's really simple. You must have made up with him in like a Skype group. So, that's the reason why, he would be under the impression that you're his friend. If you made up in Skype, he would think you're his friend when, you're really not, especially if you kept it hostile in public.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Not Machiavelli. Not Saul Alinsky. Not the King of Kekistan, Sargon of Akkad. I'm talking to Carl Benjamin, a 37-year-old stoner on the internet with a skin thinner than Stefan Molyneux's hairline and an ego bigger than PewDiePie's channel.
No.
It is interesting that you bring up Niccolo Machiavelli, because in his book The Prince he says it is unwise to offend the prince and trust them. And so Sargon offended you, and I can't really blame you for being offended by some of the things he said and did to you, but then he trusted you. So to me, again, this to me says that you made up, but you made up like Skype, and you probably kept things hostile in public deliberately while being his friend in Skype. which is why I don't really care to be in part of these Skype groups. If you got anything to say to me, you say it where there's a bunch of witnesses. I love Twitter because in Twitter there is far too many witnesses. It is harder to lie. Another thing I find interesting is that Spinosauruskin says, I am sick of this drama. It's interesting because Spino is always getting into drama with other people. He went after Sargon, went after Paul Joseph Watson, went after Omar Skeptic, went after Reaper. Islam's not a race, that's Reaper over there, folks. He went after Crouton T. He went after that guy T. For a person who hates drama, he sure, gets involved with a lot of it. He's one of those people. I hate drama, but gets involved with drama each and every single chance he gets. At least with Edgy Sphinx, it was a bit understandable, because he was lying to us and, pretending to be everybody's friend and whatnot. But for a guy who hates drama, he sure as hell gets involved with a lot of it. You would think that he would just have a YouTube channel merely stating his opinions and not really do, video response hits pieces against other people if you wanted to avoid any drama. Oh well, that is my take, folks. Sorry if this isn't the best quality. I don't really do too many of these video responses because my editing skills aren't so good. But I hope that I made my points clear. That I really think that Spinosauruskin is disingenuous and is playing you all. But if you like Spino, go ahead, like him. Just don't irritate me. Don't just be coming to me, talking to me on Twitter. You're his fangirl. Just go away and suck Spino's dick. I don't really want to hear it from you. I think that Spino is disingenuous. Reaper thinks Spino is disingenuous because he says that Spino took him out of context with Islam's not a race. Vernaculus says that Spino is disingenuous, and I'll be happy to share those tweets with you. I'll go ahead and do that. But to me, it can't be like everybody's saying you're disingenuous and they're all wrong. To me, if everybody's saying this about you, it must be you. Okay, so here's the bits of the exchange between Spinosauruskin and Vernaculus. I'll wait for evidence that I lied. Spino, you had a conversation with yourself as the parody accounts and sent it around to people who dislike Sargon, saying how hilarious it was. And yes, I have seen the screenshots of Spinosaurus Skin ganging up on Sargon of Akkad by talking to Sargon in both his Spinosaurus Skin Twitter accounts and his Hargon of Assad Twitter accounts, where he acts like two separate people attacking Sargon when it's really Spino arguing against Sargon and having his backup accounts defending himself going against Sargon. All waits for evidence that I lied, and yet you have no conceivable idea how someone could be hurt by that. None at all. And here, Vernaculus took some screenshots of Tilta Boots Liberal saying, so I see Vernaculus has decided to join the circus show trial of Spinosauruskin. Now I'm definitely having flashbacks to A Plus Purchase 2014. Vernaculus says, I spoke to him trying to reach out respectfully for an hour on Skype today. We left on good terms. This is what Sky gets in return. I'm done." And then Vernaculus unfollowed Spino on Twitter because he's not gonna, let Spino did to him what Spino did to Sargon. Because look carefully. I spoke to him trying to reach out respectfully for an hour on Skype today. I am pretty sure that Spino and Sargon at least had each other on Skype, and I'm pretty sure that they did try to talk things out on Skype. And here Vernacular's going, we left on good terms, and I'm pretty sure that Sargon and Spino left on good terms. And Vernaculus goes, this is what I get in return. And here, you can see Spinosauruskin left in good terms with Vernaculus just to retweet and like some shits about Vernaculus. In other words, Spino does show signs of saying one thing to your face, on Skype, and saying another thing behind your back on Twitter. Or, well, it's not really behind your back, it's on Twitter. But it's one of those things that Spino does have Machiavellian tendencies, where he does practice duplicity, where you could make up with him on Skype and you could be on good terms just for him to go on Twitter going like, oh no, I don't like this person. It is one of those reasons why I don't like those Skype groups. To me, if you got anything to say to me, say it on Twitter where there will be so many witnesses, because on Skype there are no witnesses, and usually people do not take, screenshots of these things to respect other people's privacy. And this is more of Vernaculus's opinions on the situation. I'm not going to go through all of it, but this is just more of it. And I mean, if you want to see it for yourself, you could just probably use the search and search Vernaculus and Spinosauruskin to find it for yourself. And this is the tweet that I left you guys under my Spino versus Sargon video, where Vernacular says, what parts of your agenda does being disingenuous towards Sargon satisfy? So again, Vernacular thinks that Spino is being dishonest here. And here's where it gets really good. You did the same thing to me before. He did the same thing to Vernaculus. He did the same thing to Reaper. How come everybody has a personal experience of David Sherrod's being disingenuous and, lying about them? Why? Why? Sargon is not the only person who has an experience with Spino being disingenuous. Vernaculus says, you did the same thing to me. And Reaper's like, oh, Spino, he did this to me too. He took everything I said out of context. So many people are saying that you are being disingenuous about them. And the reason why I keep bringing up Vernaculus is that Vernaculus, Sargon, and Spino, they have been friends with each other for about a year. And by each other, I mean Vernaculus has been friends with Spinosauruskin for all the way back 2015. 2015 is how long Vernaculus and Spino have been friends. And Vernaculus has been friends with Sargon for about as long. And yet, he comes out of it saying that Spino is being disingenuous. I don't think that dating Sarah, that's, Vernaculus has some girly crush on Sargon. I highly doubt that. To me, given that he's friends with both, or was friends with both, I am saying I believe that David Sherrod, he is being totally dishonest here, and he's playing you. I mean, obviously I cannot prove that they made up in a Skype group, but it's behavioral patterns. I believe this because of behavioral patterns. David has a history of being dishonest, while Sargon of Akkad, with 500,000 subscribers, if he has a history of being dishonest, it it would have all caught up with him by now. So that's my take on it. So this has been Ren Michaelis. And like if you are like a Spino fangirl, you know what? Follow him. Deal with him. I don't care. You're obviously just wants to suck his dick and you're gonna listen to everything he says. If you don't care what I have to say, then unfollow me, unsub me. I don't care. I don't want you around because, you know, I prefer that people who actually want to hear my perspective, talk to me. Because if you don't care what I have to say, you're not listening to me, then I'm done with you. I'm just done. You either are interested in hearing different perspectives or you're not. Because let me say this. I follow Michael Rollins. I follow Christiosity. I do follow people in the feminist community. And I don't treat, Christiosity any kind of way because I really am following Christiosity because I am interested in hearing things from a perception different than my own to prevent an echo chamber. And to me, that is what's up with these anti SJWs, where they basically have this echo chambers and it's just an us versus them mentality where they otherize the anti SJW community and we're just the other. They don't care about our opinions. They don't care about what we have to say. So it's like unfollow me, unsub me. I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm not. Either I could have a real dialogue with you or I can't. Because, when it comes to me, I talk to Christiosity for a different perception. I treat her respectfully. I'm interested in hearing things from her point of view. And, I hope she's interested in hearing things from my points of view. And I'm not like there just, bitching, whining, and moaning about everything she says. So, again, I mean, you either want a conversation or you want to be in your anti SJW echo chamber where you just want to only listen to people who have this confirmation bias and agrees with everything you say, and you don't want to take my opinions into account, yet you're following me and subscribe to me, unfollow, unsub. I don't really want you around. Please just go away. But if you're interested in hearing things from my points of view and from my perception, and you want to have a real dialogue about this and not just, autistic screeching, if you want to have a real conversation, then let's have a real conversation. And another reason why I don't really like these anti SJWs is that they're liars. I find them to be highly dishonest. Like I blocked one for taking everything I said out of context. Everything I said kept taking out of context, and CV could back me up on this. Marking bad could back me up on this. And it's like, you know what? You keep taking me out of context. You keep lying about me. I'm just going to block you because I have enough stress in my life. I work at the projects. I don't live in a projects. I live in a white neighborhood, or I live in a white neighborhood, but I have Mexican neighbors, and the neighbors like 2 doors down are black, but it's a predominantly white neighborhood. And but I work at a projects, and I be hearing gunshots, and I can't even count. I can't even count. I would hear sometimes like about 30 gunshots in the projects. And I mean, I'm working there at night. It is scary for me. It is scary. It is frightening. I feel very much afraid. And you think I want to deal with somebody taking me out of context? I don't really need the extra stress in my life. I have to deal with gunshots and feeling scared, and I even have to like call the police one time. I have enough stress in my life. I don't need you to. You can just piss off. You either want an honest conversation and an honest dialogue where we could really communicate and we could treat each other respectfully, or you want to take everything I say out of context and lie about me and be a total dick to me. So again, I'm just not going to deal with this e-drama, and if you don't like that, I'll block a person for taking everything I say out of context and lying about me. Again, unfollow, unsub. But I am not going to tolerate being lied about, especially when I have to dealing with gunshots constantly, working at a project. It is as scary as fuck. It is as scary as fuck. And when you have to deal with gunshots on a regular basis, not knowing which day would be your last day to live, hey, yeah, if you could hear all those gunshots and if you could still want to deal with people lying about you, fine. But for me, I don't need the extra stress in my life. Anyway, this has been Remy Kylis. The editing is probably bad, and I'll apologize for that. But I hope that you're interested in what I have to say, and if you do, you can subscribe, and we could just have a real conversation. Bye.